Dow Jones. And if we look from the October 13 low up to today, the performance have been mainly by the Dow Jones. And I do not check all the ETF like Talji do. I will leave it to him when he presents, but I just wanted to highlight semiconductors. They had been really outperforming all the other, say, the aggregate indexes. So it's an area to pay attention. I've appreciated 25% since the market low. And looking at them, I took the Market Smith have three groups: semiconductors, equipment, semiconductors manufacturers, and semiconductors fabless. So I took the stocks that have more than $20 million traded per day as an average, away focusing on the good liquidity ones. So I put all of them here in stock charts. As you know, well, I like very much the relative rotation charts, as Keith presented in the meeting too. And if we sort the list by their quadrants, we have in this quadrant, in the leading quadrant, are the stocks that are outperforming the benchmark. In this case, we're using the benchmark, the S&P 500. And so the first stock that shows up is AEHR Test Systems. And we can see here quickly how since the market made a low, had been really been bought. And this is a canceling stock. I will show it in Market Smith. But before going there, it's good to take a look at what are the others doing. So the other one that is still in the leading quadrant is Rambus. Then you have MTSI, Amcor, GFS, it's a recent IPO, MCHP, and Diodes. So that's by the tails in the RRG chart. So the ones that are most to the right side are the ones that have the highest relative strength versus the benchmark, and the ones that are the highest in the vertical axis have the highest momentum. And so obviously they make turns. There are others that are lagging. There are a few of them. And we can see here, for example, Taiwan Semiconductor that we were talking about it. So this chart is a weekly view. We can also adjust to daily view. So then I like to adjust by percent change, and also be sure my time frame here matches what I'm looking for. I want to see stocks from the market low. So that was actually, let me go to Market Smith. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago was when the market made a low. So let me adjust that in here. So we put a tail of 5 weeks. There we go. So adjusting by that and price move, AEHR is the leader. They have made the most significant price movement.
I'm sorry, are we supposed to be seeing a chart right now?
Yes.
Okay, we're not seeing it.
Okay, but you were seeing it before, right? For some reason, it stopped.
You all look like you're just sitting in a coliseum right now.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, but did it stop suddenly, or from the beginning you weren't seeing anything?
I can see the chart right now.
Yeah, last 1 or 2 minutes we lost, but we came back.
Okay, good. So I adjusted. This is a weekly view, and I adjusted the duration of the tail of the chart to 5 weeks. So The leader is AHR Test Systems, followed by AMKR, ASML, Lam Research, Lattice Semiconductor, by price movement since the market low. Keep in mind that this is only technical momentum price calculation versus the benchmark, okay? Not necessarily they have the greatest fundamentals. Many of them do, but so what I will do here is I will change the benchmark from the S&P 500 to actually the SMH semiconductors ETF. And in this case, the chart gets adjusted because now we're comparing the semiconductor stocks to the semiconductor benchmark. And that being said, well, for the past 5 weeks, AEHR is outperforming all its peers, and we know already that semiconductors are outperforming the index. So it's so let's look at that one in MarketSmith. Very likely it's extended. So here it is. We have we're very close to 52 weeks high, close to minus 2% from the top. The top was made in November last year, so about a year ago, and the high is 2709. And we're about to try to break out about it. So the current high this month is 2667, so barely there. Maybe if we consider this a very big cup, let's say this was a handle, and may produce another handle here for a couple of weeks, will be actionable. But right now it's a little bit extended, has a good earnings per share growth estimate for this year and next year. They have been revised down. That's the down triangle. Return on equity is very good. Relative strength line is very good. We have triple digits earnings on sales, and every quarter we produce significant surprises. Sales are also triple and double digits. There is, I mean, I don't know what the seasonality, but we have 15 millions, 20 millions, 10 millions. They do manufacture wafer test burn-in systems to analyze memory and logic for the semiconductor industry. It's a small cap company, and one interesting thing is the proportion of shares in the float. There are only 24 million shares, and in average it has been in demand 1.8 million of shares, and so that's a very good ratio. That when we have 1.8 divided by 24.2, it's, well, my math today is not that good, so it's as oh yeah, no, 7%. Close to 7% of the float is in demand. So when that happens and we have this big volume, the price goes up. So unfortunately it's extended, but it's one to pay attention and see if it pulls back or put some handle here. I hear some paper rustling. I don't know if you guys have it open. So that was the first on the list. Then we have AMKR. Let's look at that one. It's also making a very strong move. We have very wide range weekly bars with high volume after earnings. We have RS line blue dot also approaching its prior highs. So it's extended. Look for it to maybe consolidate around 30. Mutual funds are increasing. And it's a close to 7 billion market cap. And In this case, the float is way, way bigger than the other one. Then ASML, another big company, I think known by many of us in the group, have corrected significantly this past year, but have been coming up with high volume for the past month. Is now back above the 200-day, 40-week moving average. It's testing 600. It needs a base. LRCX, similar situation, back above the 200, and also this is the 150-week moving average. Volume have been increasing significantly, and it looks like they are stopping the downtrend. So there is a good sign from the semiconductors stocks that they are moving in the right direction now, even though many are significantly SCC significantly they corrected significantly for the whole year. Now they're back to where they were. So other leaders in the list are PI in this group. It's extended. They do barcodes and radio frequency location labels that allow to track packages and merchandise, things like that. Also, we see after earnings significant volume. There's triple-digit earnings and earnings growth, double-digit sales. We have good margin. We have preferred mutual funds. So needs a few more weeks to put a base. Maybe it does like a flat base or any other type of base, or pull back to the 721 EMA catches up with the price, and maybe it's a pullback by opportunity. Mobileye is an IPO that was recently became public again. Broke out 3 days ago from the IPO base with increased volume. You can see here the volume was very low, but nothing in comparison to the volume when it started trading. So there is no overhead supply. It's just what I was traded yesterday and today. And it's holding the IPO base pivot 2986. So if we look intraday, it's holding the breakout, even though it had been wild. Yesterday had a very wide price action. Today also, but it seems to be holding. So this is one good to watch. GFS Global Foundries is another one. IPO last year at $47. We're trading above that. It was making a consolidation base. Reported earnings a couple weeks ago. Triple-digit earnings growth, double-digit sales growth, and after-tax margin acceleration we have for all these quarters. They're making much more money, and so it just broke out today from the consolidation from the 65.96. Obviously, in a base like this, we prefer that it forms a handle to check out people. But today, I actually bought this one using a mini coil, or what Matt Caruso says it's a kicker entry. If we go back one day, and we can see here that it broke out. We have significant volume right here. After earnings, everything changed, and here we have 175% volume. The stock moved 62% and broke above the 6114 pivot point. Some people may consider this like a cup with handle. It was a V V-shaped, very steep price action. Some people may have considered that, but what I liked was that if you see this price bar, it tested the 65.96 and closed 69% of the price range, and then that was on Friday. And on Monday, yesterday, it traded in an inside bar, so all the trading happened inside the price action of Friday. So the mini coil entries, if it breaks out above the high of this day, if you break out about 66, that could be an entry for an aggressive buy, and using the low of Fridays, that was 62.01 as your stop. And if you can see, it matches with the lowest area that is marked here by Market Smith pattern recognition. The thing is a decent entry with a decent stop. And so today what happened, it actually broke out with a gap. It gap above the Mondays and Fridays high. And if we look intraday, so this is what happened. It gap up of $66 and something, and then tested the low, tried to test the gap. It didn't even come close to the gap where it closed on on Monday. And we have the market with all the volatility that happened today with the missile going into Poland and all that. That was around 2 p.m., I think. So the stock tested that, but it didn't close the gap. So we can see complete separation here. The gap was respected. And I think it's a decent entry using a stop under 62. So it's one that I think has the potential to be a good CAMSLIM entry. There are others CAMSLIM stocks in this group. ACLS, it's a semiconductor equipment company, has a couple of bases. These neighbor bases, this one is shown as a cup, but this actually looks like a double bottom. You see, it made a 56.29 and 49.78. Some people may have used a checkout plus 3 entry. That's about this area of 61 and something. Similar action when it with earnings, have a good earnings report. Let me hide my annotations here. So you see, earnings surprise was only 7%, but the market like what happened. You see the volumes significantly pick up, conquer the 200-day, and then continually went up, and also broke out from the double bottom pivot, and then the middle of last week also continued gap up again, continue higher and higher. I'm not in this one. I'm expecting this to form some kind of handle like it did here, but in this case, hopefully we have a sustainable market rally, break out and work better. AEHR is another one, also in the same group, electric semiconductor equipment that I say already is extended. Those are interesting stocks in the semiconductor group. Obviously, when we talk about semiconductor, we have to talk about NVIDIA. NVIDIA reports earnings tomorrow. It's significantly in a downtrend, even though it has been moving up from the lows. It's a very strong move from 108 to close to $170. And so one to watch. I'm not a bottom fisher, so I will play this type of move from the lows. We have to see what happens with the 200-day moving average. And AMD have also a similar position, that we have a downtrend that maybe can be broken in the next few days. I'll put this alert here. Depending what happens with NVIDIA earnings, we might have a move here or not. But these are very, very very far away from they were when they topped, right? So in November last year, and since then have been declining significantly. Okay, so that's my presentation to semiconductors. I just want to share with you what I'm seeing in the space, and that's it.
Thank you, Francisco.
Cool. Let me stop sharing, and then Tajid can